Hello everyone, welcome back to AppDev channel. In today's video, we will get to know the details about the functions in Python programming language. This is the agenda for today's session. We will know what is a function, what are the uses of function, what is the purpose of the function, how to define and call a function, how to pass the data and get the data from it, default value arguments, variable arguments, keyword arguments, variable keyword arguments. All these topics we will try to cover in this video. Okay, let's start with the first topic. What is a function? Okay, say for example, uh, I have salaries of an employee, and those salaries are stored in a list. Okay, say for example, there is an employee Alice, and his salary is present in allies salary list some 2000, 3000, and 4000. Okay, like this. Similarly, I have another employee which is Bob. Okay, and his salaries are like this 4000, 3000, and 4000. Okay, let me comment it for now. Okay, so we have one employee salaries those are stored in list, allies salary list. Suppose if I want to calculate the total salary of allies which he uh, yeah let us calculate the total salary of allies salary in allies salary total is equal to total plus salary. Okay, total is equal to 0. Now if I print salary, if I print total, let's see what it prints. It is giving us the value, right? 9000. So we are iterating through the list of salaries of allies, and we are printing it. Suppose I have one more person, one more employee salary, then what I have to do? I have to write one more for loop, right? And I have to do the for loop iteration based on the Bob salary list, right? Now let's see what it does, right? So suppose if the application is trying to calculate the total salary of 100 employees, right? We have to do the iteration of we have to do the iteration logic for all those 100 employees, right? So this is one of the problem. The code is being repeated, right? Code repetition is one of the problem. Also, the moment I execute this code, right? The moment I execute this code, it is directly getting executed. But I don't want to be executed the moment I call this file. I want to I want to have some point. Okay, that point I have to call it from somewhere, and that point has to be executed only when I call it. Okay, so basically some on-demand execution of statements I want. Okay, I don't want the code repetition. I want some on-demand execution of group of statements. Okay, for these two problems to solve, okay, the code is getting executed directly and the code is being repeated, right? These two problems to solve, we have the concept of functions. Okay, say for example a function, it contains group of statements that are intended to do a specific task. Say for example here my function should be having the group of statements that should be having, I mean that should be calculating the total salary of the given person's salary list. Okay, this is the function loop logic where it calculates the total salary of the given person, right? Now, in order to group these set of statements into a function, we have to declare inside a function those group of statements like this. We have to start defining a function like this. Def is the keyword. After that, we have to give the function name, calculate salary. If you want to pass any input data to this function, that you have to pass it. Okay. So if here I have to pass alias salary list. Okay. Okay. Now what it does, we will see. Now let me print it. Let me run it. Okay. See, it is doing nothing. Also, it is not giving any error. So there is no problem with the definition function we have declared. So we have specifically grouped the set of statements inside a function, and this is also not getting executed the moment I have executed the file. So we have achieved the concept of the functions, right? The code repetition we will see in a bit. Okay, there is an so function is defined, but we have to call it, right? We have to call to execute this function. Okay, like this we have to call. We have to use the function name calculate salary of to this we have to pass alias salary. Okay, now see this, it is calculating the total salary of the given list, which is alias salary list, and it is printing it. Similarly, if you want to calculate the total salary of Bob, then you just have to call that method with the Bob salary list. That's it. You don't have to do the repetition logic again and again for all the employees you are getting into your application. You just have to call the method. That's it. See, it is calculating the given list of items, salary of Elias and the Bob. Okay. So with this example, what we understand, the function is a group of statements that are intended to do a specific task. What is that specific task? It is doing this function calculate salary. It is calculating the total salary of the given function. Function can accept input, and it can also return some output that we will see it in a bit. Also, if you want some group of statements to be executed on demand, whenever I call this function, then only it is getting executed, right? Whenever I call with ls salary, whenever I call with bob salary, then only it is getting executed. Otherwise, it is not getting executed whenever you execute the file itself. Okay, that is second feature of the function. The third feature is functions provide code reusability, right? So here, even though we have commented this code of for loop, with only one for loop, we are able to calculate the total salary of the two persons. Suppose if 100 employees are coming, you just have to call the calculate salary for those employees. You don't have to write the for loop for 100 times for all those employees. Whatever the for loop you have written in calculate salary will be enough for to calculate the salary for total salary for all those employees whoever is getting into your application. Okay, that's all about function basics. Okay, let's see one more example. Okay, here we define a function, right? Suppose in the same application, okay, I have another file. Okay, functions one function one dot py. Okay, here I have another list. Okay, another employee salary list. Say for example, John salary is equal to 10,000, 50,000. Okay, like this. Okay, now in this file I want to calculate the salary, total salary of John. Okay, I know that there is a function already available, so I don't have to write the looping logic here, because if I can reuse this code which is available in functions.py in functions1.py, then I don't have to write the logic again here in the functions1.py to calculate John's salary. So for that we have to import it. Okay, import functions.py. Then whatever functions that are available, functions, right? Whatever functions that are available in functions.py will be available to functions1.py. Now I can call functions1 dot functions dot calculate salary of John. What it does, we'll see. Okay, let me comment this because we imported the file, right? That's why, because this is there outside of the for loop, outside of the function definition, right? Those are getting executed. Now let me run it. See, 60,000. So code reusability is not only for the file in which the function is defined, it is also, you can also call that function from anywhere, from any other file also within the same application. Okay, that is the beauty of the functions concept. Now what all we have seen, we have seen what is a function, how, what uses of a function, how to define and call a function. Let us go to this, how to pass data and get it data from the function. We have seen how to pass data, right? Like this, we have to pass the data. Let us see how to get the data from the function. See, in order to send something from the from the function as an output, we have to use the keyword return, and you can use this. Okay, now whatever return, we want to print, we want to return total salary for the given list of salary, right? So we are calculating it and we are returning it from this method. So uh, so whatever the caller, right, this caller has to accept that return value. Okay, total salary. Then it knows, okay, the method has accepted my input, John's salary list, and it has calculated all the items total, and it has given me the total salary, and I can print it. See, it is still giving the value, right? So this is how we can pass data to a function and get data from a function. Okay. Now let us go to default value argument in a function. Okay. Okay, let me go here to functions.py. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, let me remove everything. Now suppose, for example, I have a function, addition function. Okay, it takes two arguments. Okay, and it should be, the definition, function definition should be ended with colon. Now the block should be started. It should actually return some addition of those two numbers. That's it. Now if I have to call this method, I have to call by using the function name. I have to give the values. Then what it does, it returns some value, right? What is the total value, that we have to accept it. Then let us print the total value. What it does, see, it is giving the 30. Say for example, there is one more file, one another file in the same application is not sending this value. Okay, or in the same file, I'm not going to send this value. I'm going to send only the addition of 10. That's it. Okay, now let's see. It is giving an error. Addition missing one required positional argument B. Okay. See here, the problem is your function definition is defined to accept two arguments, but you are passing only one argument. So it is giving, interpreter is giving an error. In such cases, even if your caller is not giving you some data to all arguments, you can define some default values to your arguments in the function definition. Okay, like this. So if your caller is not passing any data to those to all the parameters, if the default values are declared or assigned to those values, then those default values will be used in within the function. Let's see this now. See, the 20 we have not passed from the caller, but it is still the 20 assigned as a default value. If the value is not found, not received from the caller, the addition function, the 20 will be assigned to this as a default value to b, variable b, and it will be used within the function. Okay. Suppose if I am passing some value 50 here. Okay. Let's see now. See, whatever the value we are passing, even though the default value is assigned, if we are passing the actual value, then it will be used. So the default value will be used only if you are not passing the value. If you are passing the value, even though the default value is declared, the actual value will be used within the function. Okay, that's about default value concept. Now let's take variable arguments to a function. Okay, say for example, mm, print data. Okay, this is my function. Okay, this is my function, and whatever arguments you pass to me, I'll just print it. That's what it is saying. Okay. Suppose if I pass print data 10, 50, 30. Now I'm calling with the three arguments, right? Here I am having function definition is having three arguments. So I am calling with the three values. So it is printing it, right? Suppose if I pass 30, right? Only if I remove 30 and print only pass only 10, 50, it says that missing one required positional argument C, because we are not passing three values, third value, which should be assigned to value variable C, right? So it is giving an error. In such case, we can use the default value. Let's see whether it works or not. So see, it is working, but the concept here is about the variable argument, right? So my method, even though declared as declare to accept three arguments if I am passing only two arguments. But my method should be able to understand whatever arguments I pass. Suppose tomorrow I pass or from some other place of the application I pass only one data, only one element or only one argument to this function, it should be able to accept it. So the arguments are varying. That is called as the variable arguments. So even though arguments are varying, my method should be able to accept it. So variable arguments should be declared here. The way we declare variable arguments with the help of star param, star symbol. Okay, whatever arguments you can give, star, data, or values. Okay, whatever you can mention whatever the value variable name. Okay, so if you print values now, right? Let me remove it. Let's see this now. See, I am passing 10, 10 is getting printed. If I pass 20, 20 should be printed. See, so whatever arguments you are passing, right, it is accepting it. Okay. So if you see this, it is accepting it as a tuple here. Okay. So variable number of arguments will be accepted as tuple. Okay. Suppose if you want to iterate through that tuple, we can use the for loop, right? We know it. Okay, print value. So with each value, if you want to do something, that also we can do. See 10, 20, 30. Okay, this is the concept of variable arguments, variable positional arguments. Positional means whatever the value you pass, they will be assigned to the respective position in the arguments defined in the function, right? That's what we have seen it earlier. See, if I pass 10, 20. See, this 10 will be assigned to A, 50 will be assigned to B, 30 will be assigned to C. So based on their position, the values will be assigned to the arguments. Okay, those are called as positional arguments. Okay, so we have seen how to use the variable positional arguments also here. Okay, now let's go to our agenda. Here we are having keyword arguments or named arguments to a function. Okay, See here, say for example, my function is having some 5 to 10 different parameters, okay, or arguments. I don't know the sequence, okay. Say for example, like this, uh, I'm having ID, okay, is one of the parameter, status is another parameter, first name is another parameter, last name is another parameter, okay, like this I'm having it, okay. Now if I print inside ID, status, first name, last name, okay, so I have to pass the data in the same sequence, right? ID, status, first name, last name. The status means generally whether it is active or inactive, right? I'll pass true for it. Okay, first name is Elias John. I mentioned it as last name. Now let's see whether it is printing. Yeah, it is printing, right? But if I change the sequence, I don't remember the sequence of these parameters. Okay, say for example. So I pass only the status at the beginning, but I pass the ID at the end. Now let's see what it happens. See, it is still accepting it because it is a dynamically typed language, right? So that's why it is accepting it. Suppose let's take this example. Okay, ID, status, first name, last name, right? Suppose if you want to assign, see for example, see here, the 10 is being assigned to the last name, but I want 10 to be assigned to the ID variable. That is the problem here. Even though it is accepting as it is a dynamically typed language, but the value that is being assigned to a wrong variable here. But I want 10 to be assigned to ID. Okay, true to be assigned to status. If you see this, everything is wrong now. Okay, true is assigned to ID, Alice is assigned to status, John is assigned to first name, 10. Okay, that's the problem. So I want 10 to be assigned to ID like this. Okay, John to be assigned to last name like this, Alice to be assigned to first name like this, status to be assigned to uh, true to be assigned to status. Now let's see this. See this now. Even though I declared at the end, based on the parameter name, it is identifying it. Okay. And even though you have not declared in the same sequence, the parameters or the arguments are declared in the function definition based on the keyword. Okay. This is called as keyword, parameter name or the keyword. Okay. Based on the keyword, it is identifying it and assigning it to the respective parameter or the argument. So this is called as keyword argument. Okay, here we don't have to remember the sequence of the or the position of the arguments defined in the function. Okay, so we can just mention the value that has to be assigned to a parameter name wherever we are calling. We don't have to bother about the sequence. In such cases we can use the concept of keyword arguments. Okay, now we have seen the variable arguments concept with positional argument, right? When you are having variable number of arguments with respect to the positional arguments that we have seen with an example, right? Now let's see if I'm having variable keyword arguments also. Okay, let's see that with an example. Okay, now here, okay, let me take this. In one part of the application I want to send only these three values because the ID is not available at that part. in that part of the application. So I want to print only these three values. Now let's see whether it prints or not. See, missing one required positional argument ID. So if you have to pass it, okay, you have to pass all the values like this. Okay. So we have to make our print data function that it should accept variable number of keyword arguments. Okay. So suppose one part of the application is, if it is sending 4 arguments, it should accept and print. If some other part of the application is sending only 3 arguments, 3 keyword arguments, then it has to accept and print it. Similar to what we have seen with the variable positional arguments. In the variable positional arguments, we have seen like this, right? Star params. But for keyword arguments, we have to use double star. Okay, like this we have to use. Now let's see. Let's see what this function will do now. See, whatever the data I pass, right? See, in the first caller, I am passing 4. It is properly being assigned to the given attributes. In the second, I am passing only 3 arguments, 3 keyword arguments. It is properly being assigned. So if you see this here, this is being treated as a dictionary. Okay. If you see our earlier example where we have used uh, like this, right? What is that example? Yep. If you see this example, variable positional arguments. Okay, let me print. Yeah. This is being treated as tuple. Okay, but if you see the variable keyword arguments, this is being treated as dictionary here. Okay, whatever values you pass, variable or keyword arguments are just the keyword arguments. The function will treat that as a dictionary. So we know that, right? Dictionary will be having the key value pairs. So in order to print the keys and values, we have to iterate through that dictionary. So params is a dictionary now. So if you want to print the values that are present in the params dictionary, you have to use this. Okay. For param, we have to iterate through that params dictionary. If I print param, what will happen? We'll see. It is all printing the parameter names, right? If we have to get the value, we have to get the value based on the key, right? Params of param, like this. If you see this, now it is printing the values. So this is about variable keyword arguments. Okay, that is the last topic in our today's agenda. Let me show you another example. Suppose my function is having variable positional arguments, variable keyword arguments. What will happen? Okay. Uh, In that case, what we can do is like this. Okay, we can pass variable positional arguments and also the keyword arguments to the function. Okay. See this. Let's see this now. What happens? We'll see. Positional arguments will be as tuple, right? That we know it. Yep. Let's see this. 10, 20. These are the positional arguments, right? So we are having it here, 10, 20. And status true, Alice, first name is Alice, last name is John, ID is 10. True Alice John 10. All of them are printed as keyword arguments from this for loop. Okay. Again, in the variable positional and keyword arguments in the second call, we are passing only one positional argument, but we are passing 3 keyword arguments only. Okay. true, Alice John. They are assigned properly, right? So a function can accept variable positional arguments and variable keyword arguments as well at the same time. Okay, that's all for today. We have seen in detailed explanation about functions and their uses with detailed examples. We have seen how to work with variable arguments, variable keyword arguments, how to work with the default values in function arguments. We learned something new today. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please give it a like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.